There we go. Hello guys, we're here. I tried to record another video, but it didn't even record. So yeah, we're gonna react to Zack D films. So we're gonna just start right here. Wait.
Dug a trench
Oh my god.
around their house because the flood was approaching.
Oh no,
They packed tight layers of dirt on top into a ridge and covered the whole thing with plastic tarps. And when the flood hit, the water rushed against the outside, getting blocked by the ridge. And for 7 days, the rain kept coming, so they kept packing even more dirt on top. Eventually, nearly 60 other homes were destroyed, and the entire town was almost completely covered by water.
Oh yeah, that's the funny part right there.
Perfectly dry.
I like that part right there.
They dug a trench around their house.
My last semester.
Well, why did you say that's good? I meant that's
boring
bad.
assignment
What the heck?
to finish,
What's wrong with me?
but you really want to play video games,
Yes,
instead of using willpower, just pretend that you're Batman. Then ask yourself, what would Batman do right now? And suddenly, the assignment feels less like a personal struggle and more like a mission. That small mental shift can help you zoom out, ignore distractions, and do the thing you were avoiding. If you have a boring assignment to finish, they put a stick into the coiled rope, trying to pin down the loop. So when you pull it, the rope gets trapped. But instead, the rope actually slips free every time. And that's because the coil isn't one simple loop. It's actually made up of 3 visible rope sections, stacked close together on the table. If you want the audience member to win, pull the first 2. This will trap the rope around the chopstick. But if you want them to lose, pull the second and third sections instead, changing the shape of the loop and letting it slip right past the stick. They put a stick into the coiled rope, trying to pin down the loop. So
oh, okay, hold up. Alright guys, my friend is asking that, like, he's watching the Backrooms and he's asking why would Captain Clark, kill Clark, like the actual Clark. If you haven't seen the movie, I might make a video of talking about it, but I may just tell him. But, alright, so, the reason why Captain Clark, ate Clark is because, like, I think in the I don't know if it's actually the very end or not, but, like, there's, like, a, part where, the girl and Clark, they're in this weird place in the back rooms, and they're like in the dining table. It's a dining scene, and then they're like fake people that look really weird. I don't know why, but they look super weird. And there's a part where Clark said that they're fake, and he said you can even eat them, and then he stabs a knife into the person, but it's actually fake. And then he like scoops a part from the guy's stomach, and he said that you can eat them. Until Clark, they heard something. Wait, no, before that, they were like arguing and like saying so much cuss words, and then he was like Clark was saying like what was it? Stay in character, and then the girl said the F word at him, and then Captain Clark came out, and then he picked up, and then Clark got out of his chair, and he looked at Captain Clark, and then Captain Clark, Jesus, he picked up Clark, and then he went right next to his shoulder, and then like Clark was saying, it's okay, and then Captain Clark took a big bite on his shoulder, and he started eating him. Yeah, like I don't know the reason why he did that. Cause like I don't get it. Like, why did he came out? Like, maybe he thought like Clark was like those people that was fake, and he said like you can eat them. So probably he thought he was fake, so he can eat them, but he's actually real. So yeah. And then he would like fall to the ground, and then he would like continue eating them. So yeah. Alright guys.
How it feels to.
If you watched every Zack D film short, it would take you about 28 hours to get to the last one. But what if you wanted to watch every video on YouTube? At first, it sounds possible until you realize there are over 20 billion. And while you're watching, YouTube gets about 720,000 hours of new video every day. Even if you never slept and watched at 3 times speed, you'd only see 72 of those those hours daily,
my
meaning
God.
you would need a team of 10,000 people
10,000.
watching non-stop just to keep up with new uploads.
Oh,
If you watched every Zack D film short, it would take you about 28 hours to get to the last one. The kangaroo is smaller than your thumb. It's blind, it's hairless, and its back legs barely work. But the second it lands on its mother's fur, it has to start climbing. The mother doesn't help it in the pouch. The joey has to crawl there completely on its own. This would be like a human baby climbing an entire building floor. Now, if it makes it, it latches on to a nipple, which swells inside its mouth, locking the joey in place for months. And even after it finally lets go, it'll sometimes hop out to explore. But whenever it needs milk or safety, it climbs right back in. The kangaroo is smaller than your thumb. It's blind, it's hairless, and its back legs.
I saw the part where Clark goes downstairs because all the lights were like flickering or something, and he goes downstairs and he like tries to turn on the power, and then like he sees like light coming out of the wall, and then he like, I don't know if he goes inside or not, but he like checks it out. I don't know if he does or not, but he'll like go in the back rooms. So yeah, I saw you seeing that part, but I don't know if he goes all the way in or not.
The pen would create perfectly spaced dots, because when it was dragged, the gear would turn a hidden wheel inside. As the wheel spun, tiny bumps on the edge pushed a lever.
Yes. In the trailer, sorry guys, I keep pausing it because like, not my friend's fault, but he's just asking me questions because he hasn't seen the back rooms. He hasn't seen the back rooms before, so yeah. I might make a part 2 if I didn't have enough time to watch like some of these, but yeah. All right. Yeah, that girl, the girl like the Clark was talking to, she also goes in the back room because there's a trailer where like the girl goes in the back rooms and then it's like I think she's like covered in blood and then she's like squeezing through a tight space like trying to run away. Mhm. And I've been seeing a lot of videos of people making edits of Captain Clark, and they're actually really sick. Like Captain Clark has so much aura, even though he's evil.
She would sit at. The pen would create perfectly spaced dots, because when it was dragged, the gear would turn a hidden wheel inside. As the wheel spun, tiny bumps on the edge pushed a lever up and down, lifting the pen tip on and off the paper to create the satisfying dots. By swapping the wheel for others, the pen could create different sized dashes, letting architects use a variety of lines for their designs. But then computers showed up, and everyone forgot about this interesting little pen. The pen would create perfectly spaced dots, because when it would... She would sit at her window and track when her neighbors left for work, when they ate their meals, and when they went to bed. Now, she just liked to keep tabs on the neighborhood, which is how she noticed the new neighbor moving in across the street. She quickly got a fresh new sheet and began taking notes. Now, everything was normal for a while, until one night she heard something weird.
Oh no.
She rushed to the window and saw the man driving away with something in his trunk.
Oh no.
Hours later, he returned, covered in dirt. He showered and went to bed.
Kidnapper.
Now, on its own, this could have meant nothing, but she was convinced that he was up to no good.
It's kidnapper.
The next night, she was ready. At the same time, he plopped a big bag into the trunk, drove into the night, came back dirty, and took a shower. Weeks passed, her walls filling with guesses on where he was going and what he was doing. At this point, she was convinced of two things. There were bodies in those bags, and no one was going to believe her. She finally called the police because she was just too convinced that he was a killer. The officer came and calmly explained that her neighbor wasn't doing anything illegal. And this is where she should have let it go. But she couldn't.
What do you
She
mean?
saw him doing even more strange things.
What the heck?
So she called the officer
Yeah.
again and again. Finally, he suggested that they go over and introduce themselves to put her mind at ease.
Oh, nah, I feel
He
like
was
something
going to
bad's
prove to
going
her
on.
that this was all
And
just a
I
big
feel like something bad's going
misunderstanding.
to
At
happen.
least that's what she thought. He brought her over and knocked on the door.
That looks like a garage door to me.
Inside, she saw strange tools.
Yo!
Jars
Yo!
filled
Okay,
with...
sorry guys. Okay,
The pen
no,
would create
no,
perfectly...
no. Why? Bro, I'm literally watching Zack D films. And why would Zack D put something violent in there? It was like, I'm not gonna explain it because I do not want to get canceled. But why? What? Yo, sorry guys, bro. I might not watch no more Zack D films no more. But why? Alright, one more video, and if it has another, if it has something else, then we're never gonna watch Zack D films no more. Just
She was...
Starting a new
what?
If you have an early flight in...
Oh yeah, he does that. I don't know why. Alright, guys, remember, I think he is broke. But guys, if there's one more bad thing in here, then we're gonna stop watching Zack D films. But there's nothing wrong. I'm gonna continue. Ooh. Oh, please don't be anything bad in here.
in the morning and you know you need to sleep, it might cause you to try to fall asleep. Now,
Yes.
the more you try, the more alert your brain gets, which keeps you awake. But if you just pretend you're already sleeping, close your eyes, slow your breathing, lie still, eventually you would actually drift off.
Ooh,
And
I need to
this
try
is
that.
how we normally fall asleep, by pretending we already are. Now, let's say you want to get fit. If you keep telling yourself, I need to get fit, it feels like a chore. You'll start and stop over
Wait, so
and
do you have to
over.
pretend
But if
you're
you
getting-
just
like you're
pretend you're
exercising?
already a fit person, well, you'll start making the choices a fit person makes. You'll pick the water
Oh.
over the soda.
True.
You'll go for the walk instead of scrolling. Not
True.
because you're
Well,
forcing yourself, but because that's just what a fit person does. And
Yeah,
if you
true.
pretend long enough, well, it might just stop being pretend. If you have an early... The crow picks up a cigarette butt,
Okay,
then
is the
drops
crow
it
about to
into a
smoke?
small slot on a vending machine. Cameras and sensors inside scan
What's
the
the-
object, checking if it's actually
Oh,
a
no.
cigarette. And if it recognizes the right shape, it releases a small piece of food as a reward. You see, the
Ooh.
creators hoped that once a few crows caught on, other birds might copy them until entire flocks could help clean the streets. And some crows did actually learn the system, but it never really caught on.
Oh nah, bro. Okay.
The crow picks up
okay.
a
Can you guess what it is?
Sprinkle a little pepper on the water, then dip your finger in dish soap
Oh, I've
and
seen
touch
this
it
one. I've seen
right
this
in the
trick.
center. Now,
It, like,
because
spread,
water
I
has
think.
surface tension, where the particles on top stick to each other, pulling
what?
the surface tight, the moment soap touches that surface, that tension drops in that spot and breaks the particles
dang.
apart.
Ooh.
So the rest of the surface pulls back, dragging the pepper along with it. Sprinkle a little pepper on. This
Alright,
is
guys.
you, and these
Alright guys, this is gonna be the last video, and I'm gonna end it right here.
are your two parents. They each have two parents as well, who are
True.
your four grandparents, who each have two more parents. With every generation, the tree grows, meaning by the time you go
oh
back
my
to the year 1400, you'll have over 16 million ancestors. And if you go back a few centuries more, your family tree will include more humans than the population of Earth at that
Yo!
time. But that's because the further back you go, the less people there were on Earth.
Oh, yeah,
so the
that-
more
that
likely
is
it
true,
is
guys.
your ancestors were already related, with distant cousins marrying each other. And that means one ancestor will show up more than once in different places on your family tree, meaning it's not that big after all. This is you, and these are your...
Alright guys, this is, so I'm gonna end it right here. I might make another video of just reacting to Zack D films again. So yeah. Um, see you later. See you later, and make sure you check out my other videos.